This episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by Scream Factory, which is a damn shame. They make some very cool special editions. Maybe one day. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, and yes, I really was a teenage film snob. I'm beginning to regret this intro because it's very repetitive, but I'm doing it anyway. This week's guest is another return guest. We had a couple of people come back recently, which means one of two things. Either they feel utterly obligated to help me out with this show, or hopefully they really enjoyed sitting down talking movies with me. This week's guest... we're going to get a little animated. That's a little hint for what today's list is about. Very on the nose, not subtle at all. And one of the reasons why is that this gentleman has got a very long history with animation and art. And we covered that in his last episode. And afterwards he told me I was far too flattering, so I'll be meaner this time. Please welcome back to the show, Josh Sacco.
Hi, listeners. How you going? It's me, the regular Josh.
You are. I've got a couple of regulars now. It was so funny before we started. We've been talking for probably over half an hour before we started recording, so just catching up. And you're like, look, if you ever want me to do another one, and I was like, of course. Like, it's so funny. It's I love that everyone, like, people are like, oh, if you need someone else to come again, like, my answer is always going to be yes. Because I like talking to my friends. I like talking about movies. And if they want to come back, chances are it means they don't feel like I'm dragging them along to do something that they don't want to do. So
it's sort of like, I feel like everyone's like, hey, James, do you want me to come on and talk about my favorite things, like, for another hour? Do you want me to come on and help you with that? Like, yeah, that's what I feel like.
It's good.
Another hour.
I've said it a few times now. Like, everyone has been really lovely. They've been like, oh, I'd love to do it again, which is the goal. And I think, taking away the strings of being like, look, I need you to be the co-host every week. I think that's too much for people, but like once a month or every other fortnight or whatever, people are like, oh yeah, I've got a bit of free time to sit down and chat for a little bit. Especially with that, as adults now, like, I mean, we're not adults now, we've been adults for a long time. But as we get more and more involved in our professional lives, it gets harder to catch up. So putting a couple of hours aside every now and then on Zoom is great.
Speaking about being adults, I just want to remind you that we went and saw the SpongeBob movie in cinemas together.
Considering tonight's list, I can't believe I forgot about SpongeBob.
I was like, oh my god! Remember when we went and saw that SpongeBob movie, and the cinema was empty except for a couple of like kids and their parents on a holiday in the holiday season.
I remember it was the three of us. It was you, me, and Tina. And I don't know whether I wanted to go see it with you or whether I wanted to go with Tina, or whether it was just like, look, we all want to go see this, so let's all go see it. We went in there, and it was out in Water Gardens when I lived out that way. Pardon me. And you're right, there was like maybe 13 kids and their parents in front of us, and not a single laugh from that row at all. That's all it was. It was us three and maybe like 16 kids. No one is laughing except for you, Tina, and myself, and we're not laughing. We are in hysterics. We're crying with laughter. Like, they must have thought that, like, we were on drugs or something or drunk, because there's no reason we should have been laughing that much in a kid's movie. But it was just so much fun.
Yeah, no, it was good. And also, I can't remember if we went to the Pokemon movie together as young adults.
We were kids, because the first Pokemon movie came out. We were in primary school, because I think they came out like 98, 99. And I remember we went, I'm going to name, when I say name drop, no one's going to know who I'm talking about. I'm going to name someone who doesn't know we're talking about. We went to Daniel Allen's birthday. I remember we went to his birthday. We went and saw Pokemon 2000, the movie, so the second one. And I remember his dad got really angry because they ran out of Pokemon cards. And then we went back to his place, and I picked up one of his chickens. The chicken scratched me. The dad said I was going to get rabies, and then his sister stole my jumper.
Wow. What a day, James.
It was a bit like, like, and that was like, if that's 98, that's 24 years ago. Like,
Oh my god! Oh my god!
or is it 14 years ago?
It's a
No, it
long
can't
time.
be. No, 24 years ago. It's so crazy that I remember that. And Daniel Allen, I'm pretty sure, is now like a councillor, like for the local government where we grew up.
Yeah.
So he's all right for himself in the end. But that's so crazy. So we did see Pokemon together. We've seen a lot of movies together. Like last time you were on, we obviously talked a lot about working together.
Yeah.
I think we talked a little bit about playing video games until the wee hours of the morning, like setting up the GameCube and the Xbox and playing with the Halo and Brute Force and, and stuff like that.
Oh my god! Brute force. Oh man.
We did a lot of that. A lot of Munch's Odyssey, which was a single player game, but you would show me that. But I'm trying to think like how many times we must have gone to the movies a ton. Like we've gone to the movies a few times together.
Yeah.
And not just for like cartoon movies, but like there's definitely been a couple. I know I dragged all of us to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I think we talked about that last time. And I
No,
think
we saw lots of movies. I just can't remember them. Yeah.
no, it is. I told a story the other night. I did an episode the other night, and I was my guest Gabby. She was talking about she hated missing movies because like her friends would like have partners and she wouldn't, so she wouldn't go to the movies with them. And I told the story about how we were meant to all go see Spider-Man 2 together. And I called Jake and and I was like, just buy me a ticket, I've got the money. He didn't. And then you guys just went all saw Spider-Man 2 without me. And he spent the whole time making out with his girlfriend, like not even watching the movie. I was like, I would have watched it. Like oh, it's so funny. So we won't talk too much about Deadlift today, I guess, because the last time we spoke was like a couple of weeks ago, and I don't imagine there's been much change.
No, let's not talk about
that. Although if people haven't started following you on Instagram since that interview, like definitely do. Like there's some really cool updates. There's always like cool little videos and animatics which I really like. We didn't really talk about your art though last time, like a little bit, but not too much. But you were always known in school as the art guy, like. Even people who like weren't our friends would be like, "Oh, Josh is sick at art," like, and they'd ask you to do drawings for them and stuff. Where did that come from? Where does the artwork begin? Where does the drawing begin?
I don't know. I think it's just like just from a young age, like being exposed to it, like from my mom, who was an artist. That's probably where it started, and then they just sort of nurtured it. And then
I remember one thing from our childhood is the blackboard. Like when you lived out, and I know you've obviously moved out now, but you lived in Keilor Lodge, and whenever you go into Josh's kitchen, there was this huge blackboard, like a seafood menu out of like an old timey restaurant, and your mum, like the artwork was beautiful. She'd done like these chalk drawings, and like there were all these like specials named after the family and stuff, and it was so cool. Like I just never seen anything like that before. And like no one in my family is particularly arty. Like my brother's a bit of a musician, but that's about it. Like my mum and dad don't have any artistic kind of flair and stuff. Not criticizing, they just never like they just had different interests. And I never really knew an adult to like be into art before, and I remember this blew my mind. And so whenever I think about like our childhood and like hanging out and stuff, I always think of that blackboard. So I guess that is where it comes from. Because I know that like a lot of it for you comes from. We talked about like Nightmare Before Christmas last time, and we talked about Tim Burton, and I also remember what were those cards that like that
the Oddbods.
Oddbods, that's right. I always thought they were garbage pail kids, but they were Oddbods. And then you would make your own ones, which was somehow better than like the ones that would come in. Were they coming like chip packets or something, or what was that?
Yeah. They just there's a friend that I follow on Instagram made this account that just has like all these old school Aussie kid things, like just all the pop culture things. And like every like couple of days, it's just like bam, like Tarzos, bam, like Knuckleheads, bam, Oddbods, just like a blast from the past, like all that sort of stuff, like that collectible era. We just like open chip packets, and like there was something inside was so great.
I remember that. I'm pretty sure I still have all my Tarzos. Like not in my house, but my dad's got like all the stuff from my childhood, and there's a box somewhere. And because we collected all the Space Jam, like Bugs Bunny Tarzos or whatever, like because they were in the chip packets. We've got all those somewhere, and I know he's got my Pokemon cards somewhere as well. And it's so funny because I didn't even watch Space Jam until I was in my 20s. Like, I didn't watch it as a kid, but for some reason I collected all the Tarzos. Yeah.
Oh,
And guess what? I waited too long to watch it because I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have as a kid.
I love Space Jam. Oh,
You know, there's definitely some fun stuff in it, but like there's also like some weird stuff in there. But like it is fun.
yeah. I grew up being a big like Looney Tunes fan.
Me too. Absolutely. I tried showing Zoe recently The Rabbit of Seville, which I don't know if you remember that one, but it's the short where Bugs Bunny is, as always, escaping Elmer Fudd. And they go onto the set of the opera, and he like pretends to be a barber, and he's like planting seeds in Elmer Fudd's head, and like dressing up as a lady and stuff. I don't remember that one, but it's classic. It's one of my favorite. I was trying to show it to Zoe, but she just didn't she didn't care. She's too young. But it's the one that's like it's got like that really like epic like classical score. It's so good.
There's a whole collection of them weird, like the later ones are also good too, like Freakazoid and the Animaniacs and like Pinky and the Brain. Like there's that subsection like weird outcast Warner Brother sort of cartoons that are like really awesome.
Well, the late 80s, early 90s is to me is like peak Warner animation. Like you get Tiny Toons first. I think that's the first one where it's like all the Looney Tunes are now teachers at like Acme Crazy School, and like the junior versions are taking over. You get Tiny Toons, you get Batman the Animated Series, and then you get stuff like Animaniacs and Freakazoid and stuff. I don't know if Freakazoid was Warner, but like all those, like Pinky and the Brain, all that stuff comes out. And it was gorgeous. And that's not to say Warner Animation is no good anymore. Like the stuff they're doing has always been very, very good. But that's what I think of as like their peak kind of gold standard, like those late 80s, early 90s cartoons.
Yeah, I feel like Warner Brothers, like the Warner Brother cartoons had like, I can't remember this if it was like, don't quote me on this, but I feel like Warner Brothers were like the violent answer to Disney, like just a more colorful sort of, unrestrained, version, counterpart to Disney.
Yeah, I agree. Like Disney, and not to say Disney was completely sanitized, but like if you think about like Mickey Mouse Club and stuff like that, like I didn't really watch that sort of thing. But Disney did have its own kind of, they would do like TV shows based on movies, but then they do like Tailspin, which is it's the characters from the Jungle Book, but they live in a city and fly planes. Like, or there was Darkwing Duck, and it was like it wasn't Donald Duck. It was a different duck, but then no, it was the Launchpad who was from DuckTales, was the sidekick of Darkwing Duck, who was kind of like Batman if he was a duck, but he wasn't very good at his job, which I loved. Darkwing Duck is amazing, and DuckTales is amazing as well. They redid DuckTales a few years ago. I haven't even seen it, but it's really good, and the animation's gorgeous. What other cartoons were you into as a kid? Because I feel like we were definitely put into the same sort of stuff.
Oh, put me on the spot now. I mean, I think that Batman TV show. Brave and the Bold was like a bit later, but I think the earlier one, even Spider-Man, the 90s Spider-Man cartoons were great.
That's great. And if you talk about 90s Marvel, I think you can't go past X-Men.
Oh yeah.
Which had maybe the best theme song of all time.
I like Captain Planet.
Captain Planet's great as well. Like I know it. Looking back now, it's probably a bit preachy and stuff, and like obviously was very like focused on that message. But Captain Planet was the first cartoon to scare me. Because they had that episode where all the villains got rings and they created Captain Pollution, and he was terrifying to me as a kid. I literally remember hiding behind the couch, and I would listen because I wanted to watch Captain Planet, but he was too scary for me to watch. And it was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, I'm scouring behind my couch, hoping the Captain Pollution doesn't win. Like, it terrified me.
It's sort of serious though, wasn't it? It was sort of gross and serious at times.
Yeah, it's but then it's so weird because it was serious, but then the character names were so dumb, like Loot and Plunder, because he steals. There's like a Duke Nukem, and he's like a rock man. Hoggish Greedley. Like, it was so like.
How do you remember the names?
Um,
I got a few other cartoons that are like a good ones though. Oh, sorry, continue.
no, I was just going over Captain Planet. Like, I did love, and I love like. I guarantee they've aged poor. I remember I always had a crush on Linka, the Russian girl. I was like, oh, she's pretty and she can make cyclones. Like,
Yeah. I got Ara Monsters.
yeah, I was going to say Nickelodeon's going to come in. Yeah, Ara Monsters is great.
Yeah, that the Nickelodeon catalog. Yeah, even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were awesome. Them cartoons.
Those 80s, are you talking about the 80s ones or are you talking about a later version?
I don't know. There's been so many iterations. I probably couldn't pinpoint.
Because the 80s one is the original one. That's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the one.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold up. Like,
you know, they weren't as regulated as they are now.
yeah, I loved that cartoon as a kid, but I bought a bunch of DVDs in my late teens, early 20s, and they don't hold up. Like, it's so cheesy, it's so bad, and like the theme song's great, and that's about it. But that cartoon inspired one of the greatest video games of all time. There's a Super Nintendo game that's an adaptation of it's like a port of the arcade game Turtles in Time, and to this day, like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's so much fun. Yeah, I love the Turtles. Nickelodeon, like you talk about Ara Monsters, Nickelodeon was always a bit of a weird. They did weird animation. Like, I liked it, but I know my parents didn't really like it. You know, like in Ara Monsters, you had the boss who like wore high heels and lipstick, but he was a man, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it was just so foreign to what I was used to as a child. It was very unusual.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. Ara Monsters was like very pivotal for me as well. Like just that. I think like just like having like these characters that are not like human, like really like opened up my mind as well. Like I think that the pitch has to be something along the lines of like Nightmare Before Christmas, but like they're all. I mean, I would assume that they probably would have taken inspiration from that, but yeah, I don't know. Like I just thought it was really cool that you know the monsters were the main characters and they lived in a dump. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm trying to remember. Like, obviously, I think my favorite was probably Crumb. Like, just what a great character! A guy who has to carry his eyeballs everywhere, and if he can't carry them, he has to put them in his mouth. And is it Ickis and Oblina? Is that what they were called?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. But I love that Nickelodeon animation. Like even Rugrats. Like, Rugrats is great. I liked Hey Arnold. I liked Angry Beavers.
Yeah, Angry Beavers. That was good. Yeah, but just the humor in that is just so bizarre.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't remember like whole episodes, but I just remember bits and pieces. I remember there was an episode where, now you're testing me. There's Norbert. He's one of the beavers.
Yeah,
and he's the cooler one. He's like and then there's the other one. I can't remember his name. It's like Daggett or something.
Yeah. I think that's it.
I pulled that out of nowhere. Like, I just had to guess. I remember like they made a bet or whatever, and like in 1 year, like if you do this, you remember you can do this, whatever. And Daggett had a terrible memory, so he wrote like on the inside of his waterproof eyelids so that he wouldn't forget. Weird stuff like that.
It was great. It was just bizarre and great. Yeah. Actually, another cartoon I got into later in life was Invader Zim.
I never watched that one, but I know a lot of people like it.
Yeah, the voice actor who does like Raz, I forgot his name. I'd have to pull it up. But the voice actor who does like Raz from Psychonauts does Dag from Angry Beavers, and he does Invader Zim. So
cool.
You can see all the way through. Yeah,
nice cool one. Voice. There was another one I was thinking of, another Nickelodeon cartoon, which I can't believe. Oh, Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh yeah. Like, everyone loves that. It's so weird because it's such a like surreal, like sort of like non-adventurous sort of cartoon. Very like suburban, bleak.
It really is. Like, and like you got Mr. and Mrs. Bighead, who are like horrible, horrible characters, and Heifer. Like, there's a lot of butt humor. Like, a lot of butts.
And then like all the sexual innuendo from like the neighbors, like the frog wife, like
Mr. and Mrs. Big Head.
yeah.
And also like Rocco is like a sex line operator. Like that's his job. Like I remember like someone showed like a screenshot. I remember it was on the internet like a little while ago, and like in the background while he's on the phone, it says something like "keep it hot." Like, it's like Jesus Christ.
You know,
Like,
half these cartoons get cancelled, like Invader Zim, Aria Monsters. I'm not sure about Rocko's Modern Life, but they all get cancelled because the parents eventually find them out, and then they go, well, these are too dark. Invader Zim, someone got angry that school was spelt with a K on the, yeah, like all these like cool, quirky sort of cartoons get cancelled because like they're not, sensible enough. But it's just people being creative.
yeah,
Really.
yeah, I know. Well, yeah, exactly. And then I'm trying to think. Did you get into the Cartoon Network stuff much at all? Or was that not really on your radar?
Oh, Cat Dog is another one, by the way.
Cat Dog, yes.
Well, Cartoon Network's a little bit different. Are we talking about Adventure Time?
Well, I guess there's Adventure Time. Before that, you get the stuff that I grew up on is also quite weird and is kind of in the same vein of that Nickelodeon. There's Powerpuff Girls, obviously, which was a great cartoon. I love Powerpuff Girls. Like it was a cartoon for the whole thing was like we need a superhero cartoon for girls, but it was so funny and clever that like it worked for boys as well. And then there's weird stuff like Courage the Cowardly Dog, Cow and Chicken, which is very strange. I Am Weasel, which is also like very strange butt humor cartoon. There's so much, and we haven't even talked about the big two, which is probably Simpsons and Futurama.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, I didn't even really forgot about the Futurama movies.
Which I know you're a big Futurama guy. I didn't watch Futurama until I was dating Tina. Simpsons was a late bloomer because my dad wasn't a fan. He was like, no, that's too rude. And then my parents got divorced and my mom was like, I don't care anymore. So that's why I started watching Simpsons.
I remember when you got into it, you bought every box set and we were watching it at your mom's place. Yeah, that was a good memory. We just went through all of it. Yeah. I'm a bigger Futurama fan than Simpsons, and Beck and like her and everyone else can quote Simpsons and I can't. I think Tina can as well. I can't quote it. I know all the episodes, but I can't quote it.
Yeah, Tina's a big Simpsons fan. Like Tina's knowledge of Simpsons goes way beyond mine. Like, but I caught up. Like once I started buying the box sets, and now like with Disney Plus, like I'll just put Simpsons on, like because I can watch it. Like Zoe can watch some of it. Like if I want something on the background, I can put some on. That being said, like there was an episode recently, and there's an itchy and scratchy thing in it. I was like, oh, this is too violent. I'd never had that before. But I was like, oh, I don't want Zoe seeing this. It's too violent at the stage. Like the dad card came in. I was like, oh, no. Futurama, I love. Obviously, it has one of the saddest episodes of any show ever, which is Fry's dog. And that's why I have trouble going back to it. But even like Zap Brannigan, like what a great character.
There's so many like timeless quotes. Some episodes haven't aged well. But I always like their take on things. But I read an article that the things that haven't aged well are supposed to be ironic, but it's it's touch and go. Some of the jokes, here and there. Some of the the things obviously things don't age well over time, but I think Futurama. We're getting a new season as well, but
I know, and they finally got John DiMaggio on board because they weren't going to pay him his rate, and they finally like negotiated, and they've got him on now, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, Futurama, definitely very cool.
Yeah, and then I guess, like, when we get older, because we keep watching cartoons, like, that's the thing, like, and I think it's become more socially acceptable now, like, I think when we were kids, like, our parents' generation, like, didn't watch cartoons, like, they watched them when they were kids and they put them away, and if you did watch cartoons as an adult, it was kind of looked down on. SpongeBob is obviously, we talked about it a bit before, but SpongeBob was another thing we watched. I remember... Yeah. I would buy box sets of that and we'd just watch that. Like,
I remember one of the funniest bits in it. There's just these two random fish walking down the street.
I know what it is.
you know it. And then there's just like a plane that goes past, and I think it says like, "Will you marry me?" or something, or it's just something like, "I love you."
No,
And then,
I know exactly what it is. It's the one where Gary goes missing. And there's like a montage of someone searching for him, and then a plane flies over, and there's a couple, and it says like "I love you, Lisa," and she goes, "Who's Lisa?" and slaps him.
it's one of the funniest things. I don't remember stuff well, like in shows, but that one is engraved just because how funny I found it. Like that's probably the like one of the few SpongeBob ones I've like committed to memory just because of how funny it is.
I love that absurdist humor. Like that's what like I was talking about Batman movies on a previous episode. I talked about Lego Batman, and because I've talked about Lego Batman in the past, it's not on my list tonight. But in the opening of the Lego Batman movie, like the Joker is hiding on a plane, he's about to hijack it, but before he does, there's the two pilots are talking, and like one of them makes fun of the other one, and the one who gets made fun of goes, "I'm a failure in my job and I'm a failure in life," and I'm just like, it's like someone decided, hey, we're gonna put this line in this Batman movie, and it was so real. It just cracked me up.
Yeah, you're like laughing because you can like relate like to real.
Um, I was going to go to the cartoons we watched as adults, but I did skip over some early ones, and I don't know how you feel about these ones because they predate us, but they're always around. You've got the Hanna-Barbera stuff, so you've got your Flintstones, your Jetsons.
Oh yeah,
Is that kind of thing on your radar as a kid, or not really?
yeah. Flintstones, like all the time. Jetsons, I love Jetsons. Like
Love
they were.
Jetsons.
Yeah. Daria is another one that
Yeah,
as well. I thought that was like really unique and different.
it,
I thought
it
that was
it's such a crime to me that in 2022 we still haven't had a Jetsons movie. Like they've made a couple of live action Flintstones. They've made a lot of Scooby Doo's, but we haven't had Jetsons. Like, why not? Like
I like Scooby Doo as well. I thought Scooby Doo was a good one as well.
Scooby Doo's great.
Yeah.
Like you could totally do Jetsons now. You could do like Jason Sudeikis as George Jetson. Like I think you'd be like, just get some SNL people to play the Jetsons and stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. That'd be an alright one. That's enough time has passed for like a different take. Even the Flintstones, you could do a funny take on that. I don't know how you do the dinosaurs though. I mean, they always end up like sort of tacky kids movies. That's the problem. You need to strike the right balance.
Yeah, I don't mind. I haven't seen the first Flintstones movie in a long time, like a long time. And I heard someone speaking about it recently. They said it wasn't very good. And then, but I saw the sequel, like the Viva Rock Vegas one, which is not good either. But like, I didn't mind. Like, I don't like, but like, it wasn't bad because it was a kids movie.
It's 9 o'clock.
They just didn't like handle the material very well. But like those Scooby Doo films are totally good. That first one is written by James Gunn, who like does Peacemaker and all that sort of stuff. So, and the sequel I actually really liked as well. Like, it's really underrated. A lot of people didn't like the sequel because it was a bit cheesy. But that second Scooby Doo movie, they recreated just about every monster from the original cartoon. Like I can't remember what the villain was, but the villain's like a special effects guy or whatever, and he created all these monsters. And it was like every monster you remember from the cartoon was brought into the movie. I was like, what a great idea.
Yeah. That definitely ticks some boxes for fans out there.
And then like so when we got older, we kept, as I said, we kept watching cartoons. So like obviously Family Guy. Sorry?
I was just saying South Park is a weird in between one because it's like you sort of weren't allowed to watch it, but you still did anyway.
I remember we had a sleepover at your house once, and you taped the South Park movie on VHS off the TV. And we were like, oh, we're going to watch it. Like, because we weren't really, I definitely wasn't allowed to watch it. And I think like the others, you guys were kind of on the line where you could watch bits and pieces, but you really weren't supposed to watch it. And so we're sneaking it. But because we were young, we didn't like the songs. Well, I just skipped through them. The songs aren't good. But if you watch the South Park movie now, the songs are the best part. Like,
yeah. I just got this really like cool memory, like watching the South Park Christmas special, Mr. Hanky, with my family at Christmas time, because like they like obviously like having a sort of like religious sort of family, they didn't approve of like the religious sort of satirical nature of it, but they still laughed because like it was like a poo with a Christmas hat jumping around the screen. So like my parents like sort of like were hiding their sort of laughter because they knew like they couldn't really condone watching South Park, but they weren't too strict. They sort of allowed it, and they couldn't sort of stop it. But I do have a good memory of watching like Futurama with my dad. Like my dad would sit down and always watch Futurama with us. So I have these weird memories when we'd watch cartoons with our parents sometimes, just the adult ones.
Yeah, I am. I was thinking about it. I didn't really watch many cartoons with my mum. Like my mum wasn't really a cartoon person, but I have this vivid memory of when I was a child. I would have had to be in like early to mid primary school, like not very old at all. And I was homesick, and in a rare instance, my dad was homesick as well. Like my dad never took sick days. He still doesn't. Um,
Mm.
and like we were both homesick, so he was just lying on the couch, and I was kind of lying on the floor. But I know I was kind of like lying on the floor and like kind of on him on the couch as well. And we're just watching like Foxtel at the time, and this is before streaming, so you couldn't choose what you watch. You just had a dedicated channel, and we're just watching like the cartoon channel, and we just watched like all the classics, and we're both like laughing our heads off. And my mum was just like bringing out like 2 minute noodles to us. Um, but yeah, that was it was very rare that we'd watch cartoons together. He wasn't a big cartoon watcher, but that was a nice memory. I also thought of I don't know if you ever watched this, but there was like the Super Mario Brothers cartoon. Like there was that, the Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I think the Sonic one I watched. Yeah.
Like the more I go on about this, more I'm thinking of that like cartoons just have always been there, like always been in my life.
Yeah.
And then as I said, when we got older, there's like Family Guy and American Dad, and I don't really watch them anymore. But like as a young in my early 20s, like it was really fun. Metalocalypse is another thing I think of.
Oh, yeah. Metalocalypse. Such a strange. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Strange, but
Metalocalypse
yeah.
is great. Like that soundtrack is so good.
I just remember the food libraries joke. Need
Which
to
one?
get. I need to get food from the food libraries.
Yeah. Hey, body bag. I just loved that. Do you remember when they buy the lobsters? It's like, so wait, you take these blue guys, put them in water, and they turn red. Oh, that's so metal.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So,
it's so good. Well,
speaking
anyway,
of,
I just want to talk. Like, I just wanted to, I guess, prove that like
yeah,
animation has been in our hearts forever. Like, I think it's pretty fair to say. Fair to say, sorry. So this week we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite animated movies. So last time you did your list by yourself, this week I'm going to join and do my list as well. And when I suggested to you, we were like, yeah, that's easy. And then we started thinking about how many animated movies there actually are. And I didn't want to back down, but there was a certain point I said to my wife, I'm like, this is really hard. And she listed a couple. I'm like, yeah, no, I know they're on my list. She's like, oh, you got 5. I'm like, no, I've got 35. That's the problem. Like, there's too many.
yeah.
But didn't want to back down from a challenge because I almost messaged you and said maybe we should change our parameters, but we are going to do it. So our list is going to cover everything. So they're movies, not TV shows, but it's 2D animation, cell animation, 3D CGI animation, claymation, stop motion animation, live action animated hybrids. It covers everything.
Movies. It's movies, yeah.
It is movies, yeah. Josh, you just tear up your list. You're like, oh no, I did TV shows.
Yes, wait.
Before we do, I just want to also add Bob's Burgers, which is my favorite cartoon. And that movie's out very soon. There's a Bob's Burgers movie out in the next month or so. So I'm getting very excited for that. Cool. So just as I progress with this show, what I find is my topics are more and more controversial in as much as they don't affect the world at all, but people are going to get angry about them because it's the internet. So I will say this. You're probably going to hate our lists, but we're going to do our best. But we are big fans of animation. So, Josh, you're the guest. I'll let you go first. Tell me what your number 5 is. And then once we've gone through our top 5, we'll go through like a brief rundown of our many honorable mentions.
Okay, all right. The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually prefer this. I'll just say I love the movie. I like the coming of age from the sort of from the like teenage girl's perspective. I like how she's like into making movies. I like the robot jokes. Them 2 robots that follow. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. It's a Netflix movie, and I know it was nominated for some awards. I just haven't got around to it yet. Yeah.
It is so good, and it's so funny too. Like I was just watching like funny clips from it before just because I need to do a refresher, but it's just really quirky. Really, it's a long movie too, but it's like really action packed, really funny. It's like that. It's like a family. It's about a family that sort of deals with like a robot apocalypse,
Yeah.
and they sort of end up like in a car together, and then like there's always been like this sort of like what you call like a like a struggle between like the dad and the daughter to sort of bond, like a bonding problem. And it's like the dad still thinks of her as a young sort of like girl, but she's like trying to move on, and like they sort of like don't take like what she wants to do seriously,
Yeah.
for a career. So it's very relatable, like in that sort of sense. A lot of good moments. Like it's just really funny. Like and just the art style is like Spider-Man, but not as like crazy and intense. So like they have like 2D drawings over the top of the sort of 3D CGI animation. They use a lot of cyans and like reddy oranges and yellows throughout the whole thing. Like it's like really clear sort of styled um that they're going for. And yeah, I just really like it. I thought it was really different, and I actually like it better than Spider-Man. So that's my controversial take.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I've talked to someone else about this as well, not this movie, but I found like me and Beck found, like Beck and I should say, found that we didn't like the story from Spider-Man. We thought the visuals were cool, but the actual story Spider-Man, like this one, it's a lot deeper. You got your tearjerker moments. I just feel like Spider-Man could have done like a lot more with the uncle and the Miles and stuff. I just felt it got a little bit crazy and a little bit sort of shallow in Spider-Man, but I really like this one to Spider-Man.
There's definitely some shots fired at Spider-Man. I'm just looking at the cast for Mitchell's versus Machine, and it's huge.
Yeah,
You've got Danny McBride, Maya Rudolph, Eric Andre, Olivia Colman, Fred Armisen, Bennett, John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, Blake Griffin, Conan O'Brien. Like it just goes on and on and on. Like Jay Farrow, who's an SNL guy, Greg Griffin, who's a huge player in the animation world. She's been around forever. That's huge. That's a great cast. I keep meaning to watch it. I just keep putting it off. So if it's number 5 in your top 5 of all time, then definitely I've got to go back and give it a look.
yeah. I mean, like I definitely have other ones that are memorable, but I was like, this one really like stuck with me. Like I really like the art style. I just really liked how it hit. And it's just really funny. Like they come across 2 broken robots, and they're like, "We're not robots. We're humans." And then they draw faces on their like screens, and they're like, one of them goes, "My name is Eric," and the other one goes, "My name is also Eric." And the robot looks at him. He's like, "I mean, Deborah." It's really funny. It's really, really funny. Like they're the funniest for the movie. Like it's so good.
Nice one.
Yeah.
That's a great pick. I've only heard good things about it. I just haven't got around to it. And we haven't done a lot of movie nights in our house lately because we're just too tired at the end of the day. We end up just watching sitcoms and going to bed. But it's definitely on my to watch list. So that's cool. That's a great start.
Yeah. Also, there's a giant Furby in the movie.
Okay, nice one. I'll definitely check it out. So I'm just going to preface this by saying that like my list is pretty bland. Like I love these movies, but like I don't think anyone's gonna be surprised by any of them. Like they're pretty obvious. My number 5 is the Lego Movie. This is a movie I wasn't expecting to like. Like I'm a big fan of Lego, but I'm just like, what are you going to do with this? Like, what are you going to do with this topic? Like, you know, just people building Lego the whole movie. Like, I was very close-minded, and it's so beautiful. It's wonderful. Like, it's funny. It's visually stunning. It looks like stop motion animation, but it's not. Like the Lego bricks look real, and they aren't. The voice cast is perfect. Like Chris Pratt as Emmett is great. You've got Alison Brie as Unikitty. You've got Will Arnett as Batman, which is so well done. The story is really good about trying to be like not just about being the master builder, but also trying to break from conformity and like not wanting to follow the rules and just be a kid again and just play however you want to play. And then you have that live action component of Will Ferrell as the dad, like, and he's got all these like classic Lego sets. He doesn't want anyone to break them, but so he's Lord Business or whatever his name is. You got Liam Neeson as the two-faced cop, like is the good cop and the bad cop. It's just a really wonderful movie. It looks gorgeous. Spaceship. Charlie Day is the astronaut character who's obsessed with building spaceships.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, it's
great.
just so funny. Like it really like is its own thing. Like the style of humor, like the way everything moves. It's like it is inspiring. Like stop motion is obviously there as an inspiration, but the way they sort of use the animation to sort of form the humor, um, really like makes Lego. You're like, oh, that's a Lego movie, not just because it's made out of Lego, just because of the style of it as well. Like it's crazy. It's all over the place. There's left field jokes like just placed everywhere. Like it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I did forget to mention Elizabeth Banks plays Wildstar. Like she's great as well. Like I just couldn't remember who it was for a second. And the beauty of it is that you get to deal with so many licensed properties because Lego's done it all. So you have like Harry Potter Lego, and you've got Lord of the Rings Lego, and Batman Lego, and Marvel Lego, and like yeah, it's really wonderful. Like it could have so easily been a terrible movie. Like it really could have gone poorly, but it was directed by the guys who did 21 Jump Street. Um, so it worked out. It worked out really well. And those guys want to do a bunch of cool things, but oh, I just love it. It's just such a fun movie. I even like the sequel. Like I know that a lot of people didn't dig the second Lego movie. I think it's fun. It's not as good as the first one. The first one to me, like if I rank the Lego films, I go in order. So I go Lego movie, then Lego Batman, then Lego movie 2. Um, but it's just fun. Like and that's the point of it, I think, is like here's a movie about a toy and you're gonna remember what it was like to play Lego when you were a kid and you're gonna have fun with this. And you're gonna cry when the old man like doesn't want to play properly. Um, and then obviously, sorry.
I was gonna say it's really funny because my dad was like that. When we had the Lego, we'd build them and he'd put them up like, you did this, like on like this little shelf. And then we'd like sometimes go grab them and like change them, not as these, the what they were supposed to be. And dad would like crack it. Because we just like go like just make them into these like monstrosities, these Lego monstrosities. But that was the point. Like it's cool to make them as they are, but it's also cool to just make whatever.
And then it ends on such a great cliffhanger where the villains arrive in their Duplo, and they're like they're there to destroy the world. Um,
Yeah.
and one, I talked about the art style. I talked about how beautiful it was and looked real. There's a scene like where they're on a pirate ship in the ocean, and the waves and the water. Like anyone who knows anything about animation, and I know you've talked about it in the past, just in our own conversations, water is one of the most difficult things to animate and get right. Um, and they did such a good job with it, creating out of Lego. Like it just looks gorgeous. And I was shocked. I could not believe when they said it wasn't stop motion. I was like, they must have spent so much time stop motion animating it, and it's all drawn. Like it's all CGI. It looks incredible. So um, I love it. I think it's just a fantastic movie. It's not just a great animated film or a great kids film. Like just as a movie, it's just really, really strong.
Yeah, I like I guess within the industry, but like with CGI and stuff, they just got people doing crazy things that just like simulate this sort of stuff. So I'd imagine that like the water would end up being like some cool algorithm of just generating all these sort of 3D sort of blocks everywhere. I mean, like it was a smart idea. They could have done anything or gone the cheap route doing water, but they really went all the way to make sure the water, you know, was like stylized with the the rest of the world.
Yeah, definitely. So that's my number five. I'm really interested to hear the rest of your list now because you started with me. I wasn't expecting to be there at all.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the ones that left off, some of them are just nostalgia. Some of them like I was like this sort of like was from my childhood, but the ones I sort of put in there, they're sort of like they're more recent. Some of them are more recent and just stuck with me as inspiration. But number four is Moana.
I
Yeah,
love Moana.
yeah. It surprised me because like I'm always a bit iffy about the Disney princess movies, and I feel like maybe like not that I'm just I'm not hugely into like the sort of like sing along princesses and stuff. I guess it's just not my jam. But I mean, I did like I did like Little Mermaid growing up, so that's sort of like a hypocritical statement. Um, but no, I really liked Moana because it just felt like something like really fresh for me, like the like her journey, getting off the island, not wanting to be like, part of that tribe, wanting to go out and explore. The songs are awesome. The mythology it's built on is awesome. Um, yeah, and I just like the journey, like like the how she finds that demigod who's like arrogant and therefore imperfect. And then like the crab scene.
Yeah, Jermaine Clement as the crab.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. I really like the visuals. I actually bought the art book as well, just because like how much I enjoyed the movie. It's like I really like the songs, like that one. I just like the visuals and the tone and the actual character as well.
Moana's gorgeous. Moana was on my honorable mentions, and it was so hard because I kept putting it on and off my list, along with a couple of other movies. I remember I saw that movie New Year's Eve 2016, and I think that morning I messaged my dad and I was like, "Hey, you want to come see a movie tonight? Like, Tina and I are going to see a movie. We see one every New Year's Eve. You want to come?" I was like, "Oh yeah, no worries." And then he called me. Oh no, when he rocked up, he goes, "What are we seeing?" And I was like, "Oh, Moana." He goes, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's a new Disney one." And he goes, "Oh." Like he was like so disappointed. And then he watched it and he was like, I would never expected that movie to be what it was. Like it's visually stunning. Like just before we are talking about animating water. Like, have you seen water better in any movie than Moana? Like, and it's used so much.
Yeah, I don't know why like it's special to me. I think it just like it's just so simple, but I like it really like moves me emotionally as well. Like I just really like it. And like the whole sort of grandparent thing there being like she's like the free spirit. She's like lived the life and understands. And also I noticed like in a few Disney movies, I'll get to this later as well, but there's always like something that's like animated that's not an animal or person. So the water is like that weird animated thing in this movie. And
Mm.
like the carpet in Aladdin is like the same sort of thing where it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they find a way to make something interesting by animating it and giving it life, and then sort of like helping the sort of protagonist go on its way. And I really like the water being like an entity, and like the way they talk about the water being an entity and that like being part of the journey is really cool.
Yeah, and I really like what I liked about it is that there's not really a villain in this movie.
No,
Like the Rock's character, Dwayne Johnson's character, Maui, he's not like he kind of seems like he could be a villain at the start, but what he is he's this demigod who was over ambitious and he made a mistake. And like all he's trying to do now is like to kind of repent for that mistake and be better. Um, and you're right, Moana's not a typical princess. Like she's like the next in line to be chieftain of the island or whatever, but she wants more and she wants to be an adventurer. Um, yeah, it's so good. And like there's little coconut like warriors, which are really cool.
yeah, I love them. Yeah,
I agree with you. I think the songs are really good. Like it's easy to dismiss Disney movies because they're like princess sing along movies, and there are some Disney songs that I definitely don't like, and that I do feel a bit like, oof. But the songs of Moana are really good. Like they're really, really strong.
yeah.
The rock song,
Like,
your welcome is
sorry,
infectious.
sorry to talk over you then.
No, you're okay. All good. No go. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I agree. Yeah, they're infectious, and there's not a bad one in there really.
It's solid. I adore that movie. The only thing with that movie that I thought was like, oh, that's interesting, is there's this ongoing kind of reference to like each leader of the island puts a stone at the top of the pile of stones and they keep building it up. And in the end, Moana, like a jerk puts one that you can't put anything on top of. Like it's a really like pointy stone.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say that's like symbolism.
But it's a wonderful movie, and I cried in that movie so much. Like I don't know why. Like that movie just destroyed me. I think when the grandma died, like spoilers for a 6-year-old movie. But
yeah. I think they're making a second one. I think it's in production. But I really like what I really loved about that movie that really, got me over the line to being one of my favorites is like that end battle when they're versing that love, like she doesn't beat in one go. They like fail.
yeah,
And taken all the way back. And it takes like it's just like it just feels like that really like that we don't really get these low points in like some movies. I know the Batman movies do it, like the Batman Begins does a really good low point. Like, that point of return and then failing and then having to rise twice as high again to like overcome things. And I really like this movie because they do that. Like it's just not like I'm going to beat the bad guy. Okay, I beat them. That's it. Like there's this whole other act or like last sort of bit of the movie where you like they have to like really push beyond their limits to really be. Yeah, I just thought it was really great that they didn't just go like, oh, it's time to be the villain, and then the villain wasn't even really a villain, and I really like that.
Yeah, no, it's great. I can't say enough good things about it. Like, it's just now, like, what I've noticed is every time I talk to someone about their favorite movies, we'll talk about movies that I've seen and haven't seen in a while. I'm like, oh, now I want to go watch that. Like, my list of
Yeah.
rewatches is getting higher. Like, and now I really want to watch Moana again. It's so good.
Yeah.
But apparently not good enough to be in my top five. um, my number four is a Pixar film, and it was tough to choose Pixar films because you could do a top five list of just Pixar movies. I think they're really strong. Even most of the sequels are. There's probably a startling omission of Pixar movies from my list, but the one I end up going with for number four is Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. is so much fun. Like, I was 14 maybe when it came out, 2003, 15. So, like, I wasn't a kid when that movie came out. Or was it 2000? I don't know. Maybe it was 2001. But I was a teenager when it came out. And it was just like unlike anything I'd ever seen before. It kind of felt a little bit like we talked about Are Real Monsters before. Like, obviously not quite. Like, it's a lot cuter than Are Real Monsters, but there are a lot of like similarities. Like, both Mike and Sully kind of felt like versions of Crumb. Like, Waternoose felt like the weird like main monster in Monsters Inc. It's scary. Like, there are some legitimately scary moments in that movie. But it's also very funny. Like, Billy Crystal and John Goodman are great. I remember I was watching some behind the scenes stuff when the DVD came out, and they were talking about animating Sully, and they were like, we had no idea what we were going to do with him because, at this stage, CGI was still very new. They hadn't done animation like this for very long. And they're like, we had to make this furry monster. And they're like, a glitch created his hair the way that it was. Like, it was an accident, that it was able to move. And they're like, it just worked out really well. But like, as I said, you got Billy Crystal and John Goodman. Obviously, you've got Steve Buscemi as Randall, like the shapeshifter, who's a really good villain.
Yeah, Joe Buscemi as Randall is so great.
It's so good. You've got Celia, like the one-eyed Medusa girlfriend of Mike. Roz, the library, like the woman who's like, you haven't filed your paperwork, like the slug woman, like.
I think it's great because like they know that they build upon the stereotypes. Obviously, Mike is like that, the nervous, got to do my job, and then Sully's like, like effortlessly does his job. I like how they like just are okay with taking the stereotypes and like forming a movie out of that, making it interesting, like just like in a monster world. I just think that's it just has like a charm to it that's like bizarre because you're like, by all rights the movie is pretty like you put that in a normal setting, you're like, well, this is just, I've seen this before, but it's like it's where it goes with the monsters that makes it interesting.
And what I really liked was like, because Mike and Sully are already like, they're great at their jobs. Like, they're the superstars of the place. Like, Sully is the best scarer, and Mike's always kind of forgotten about, but because he's with Sully, people are like, oh yeah, I guess it's okay. And then at the end of the movie, they go from like, they find out that laughter is stronger than fear. And suddenly Mike has a chance to play to his strengths as well, and he can also be like a performer. He doesn't just have to be the guy carrying the canisters because he can do like jokes and stuff. We didn't even talk about Boo, who is absolutely like, as a father of a toddler now, like that's exactly what it's like. Like, that's just running around like a maniac, disappearing, grabbing things she shouldn't, hiding. And it's heartbreaking, like when they have to destroy the door. Like, they're like, that's it. Like, we can't go back into the door. It's
I always like movies when they make the MacGuffin like something that you have to empathize with. Like, it's just like, when it's like a stone or a crystal, like it's you can dispose of it, but when it's like something that they end up caring about, it's always more interesting because it's more tangible what happens with it. And having to dress Boo up as a monster, that's
so cute.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just endless things you can do with that sort of scenario when your MacGuffin's like moving around and
there's so like, I think of so many great moments, like when Mike and Sully get busted for having Boo, and he's like, "Put that thing back where it came from," or "So help me," and then he like turns into a musical number. He's like, "We're rehearsing for the company musical." And I think, and I could be wrong here, and someone will correct me if I am, I think it's the first time Pixar did bloopers. Like, they made up fake bloopers for the credits. And like one of them was like they're at a crossing, and Rex from Toy Story is the monster at the crossing guard or whatever. Like I don't know, it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I love Monsters Inc. so much. It's I
Yeah, it's
can't I
great.
can't flaw I can't fault it. I think it's just a perfect movie, and I really like the sequel, Monsters University. I think is really good as well.
Yeah. I just remember Charlie Day playing that crazy purple, like, long leg monster. I know what character Charlie Day is playing like instantly whenever Charlie Day plays a character in an anime movie.
And I remember like, a lot of people didn't like Monsters University, but for me, I was like, this is great. Like the end of it, where they do a scare at a camp in the woods and they're referencing 80s horror films. I'm like, what a great like little Easter egg for anyone who's an adult here. Like that's so clever.
Yeah.
Um, Not quite as good as the original, which things rarely are, but I love that franchise. And I haven't watched much of that series. There's a Disney Plus series now, and I've seen a couple of episodes of it, but that first movie is so strong. I love Monsters Inc.
I just love the door idea as well. Like just the idea that they had like doors coming in. Like I really thought that was like a very strong visual as well.
Yeah, like how do they get into our closet? Well, it's a portal. Like we have doors. Like every door leads to somewhere, and in the monster world, we have the other side of your door, and that's how we get in. And even that's terrifying. Like it's cute and it's funny when you're a kid, but if you think that's not, you're like, oh, so there's another reality where monsters live, and every door has another side to it, and they have the other side to all of our doors. And you're like, oh, that's pretty messed up, actually. Like,
Yeah.
um, nice one. What's your number three?
All right. Going 2D now. Aladdin. So
It's my number three as well.
Is it really?
Yeah, Aladdin's my number three.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So I don't know, like Aladdin like has like a ton of like things attached to it for me. Beck really likes Aladdin, so we watch it every few years.
Mhm.
I mean, like I think it's just one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. It just felt different at the time rather than everything else. I mean, like it's a different sort of. I mean, they sort of mix and match the cultures obviously into what they thought like the Eastern setting could be for that sort of story that they took. But I just thought it was really cool and different. I really like the carpet character, as I sort of mentioned before, like the water. It's like, they get through so much like personality just by just animating like the carpet, bending and moving
Mm,
around. And like when the carpet gets torn, like,
yeah.
also it's like really sad as well. It's like the carpet's like the dog. Like, even though there's a monkey there, like I still like the carpet better than the monkey because the carpet's sort of like the responsible.
The monkey's
It's
kind of
sort
a
of like
jerk. Like,
the monkey's kind of a jerk. Yeah. But Robin Williams genie, like amazing. Like
we
just I mean, like, yeah, I don't know whether they did the animation first and then Robin Williams made up the character, or whether they just matched the animation to like his personality.
No, so he did the lines first. I remember I was listening to an interview with a different voice actor, and they're like, "We always do with any animation, you always do the dialogue first." And they use the example of Aladdin. They're like, "Think about this: if you restrict Robin Williams to the script only, you've already animated, you lose everything Robin Williams can bring to it. So you let him go first, and they animate to him." Aladdin's been playing a big role in my life just recently because I've been playing a lot of the songs for Zoe.
Yeah.
So like particularly like "Friend Like Me," which by the way, like what an amazing song, and like the whole routine's great, and Prince Ali and stuff like that. So that's been playing, and Tina showed it to her for the first time the other day. They were homesick, so Zoe's first movie ever was Aladdin. And I don't think she watched all of it. I think she kind of got a bit distracted and moved off. Um, but it's such a good movie. Like it's a princess film, but the princess is a strong, determined character who wants more and more, just wants to be a commoner. I guess it's kind of like the Prince and the Pauper a little bit. Like, Aladdin wants to be more than he is, but doesn't realize who he truly is on the inside and stuff. But
Yeah.
Jafar is such a great villain.
Yes, yes. Like Jafar's Beck's like one of my favorite villains besides Ursula. And like he's just really cool. And I'm really disappointed that in the live action film they made him so young, and boring.
Yeah, I just never felt he was truly evil in the live action film. Like he wasn't
No,
bad. It's like the guy actor did his best. Like I just never felt like he was evil.
I
Um,
was like, why are these people young and sexy? Give me someone old and, weathered looking for
I
Jafar.
mean, you say that the live action movie is young and sexy, but like I said to my wife the other day, I was like, is Aladdin the boobiest Disney film ever? Because there's so many women in just like tube tops and bras, and like for a kids' film, it's very revealing, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not being like, how dare Disney show the human form? Like, not at all. But I did pick up, and I'm like, oh, like this is like I'm shocked that no one protested this film. Like when you hear about people protesting the dumbest things in animation and kids' films, I'm shocked that America was happy with Aladdin. To be honest, like it's pretty like there's a lot of I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's sexualized, but they have no problem being like, hey, we're going to put the women in revealing outfits. Like we're going to give women cleavage in this film. Like at one point, the genie is going to turn into a large, heavy set woman. He's going to have massive breasts. Like that happens in this movie.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, the live action movie as well, the just non-talking parrot, like, was a deal breaker for me. I was like, no, you have to have the talking parrot, even though it didn't make sense. Like,
Did
just
you
remove that whole villain aspect from the movie.
Did you like the monster parrot in the live action? I kind of liked the turn
Yes,
into
I
a
still
monster.
like the monster parrot, despite it not talking. I did like the monster parrot.
That was the one thing I really liked in that movie. Gilbert Gottfried as Iago is genius. Like,
yeah. Like I think just going into that tiger's mouth as well and into that gold pit is like visually like amazing. And just the whole thing of discovering the genie. I like the plot as well. I feel like it's very cool. Like everything sort of interconnects and like intertwines very nicely. Like how that it doesn't feel forced how Aladdin comes across Jasmine, and then like how like the three sort of like actors or characters, Jafar, Jasmine, and Aladdin, sort of like are in this weird sort of like a tussle, different power. Like this, it's all about power. The movie's about power, I guess,
yeah.
in some way. It's like, and each of them have a different view of power. So it's good to see like they're sort of like stuck in this sort of like weird triangle of power.
Mm. And also, like we talk about like scary animation, like Jafar as a genie is terrifying. Like really scary. Like that character design, like even now, like when I say I'm like, oh, he's creepy. Like he looks like a creep already, but like when he turns into a genie, it's it is like it's very, very scary. There's some really scary moments. I'd probably also say, you know, probably the best songs in a Disney film. I'm trying to think of a Disney film with better songs, but I think the Aladdin songs probably take the cake. Like,
yeah, or consistently, if you judge a Disney movie about like how many consistently good songs in a movie, I think Aladdin would probably
overall soundtrack, yeah. Like there are some songs like Mulan has "Man Make a Man Out of You," which is amazing. Like what a great song. And I'm sure I'm trying to think like obviously Under the Sea, a lot of people like in Little Mermaid and stuff. But I think you're right, consistency, like overall soundtrack. I think Aladdin probably takes it.
I mean, there's just so many great characters. Like every single character is really cool. Like it has a different angle that sort of adds to it. I just think it's really cool. And the video game, the old video game is really cool too. Everyone talks about that one.
It is. It's a class. They remastered that recently. I think they put it on the Switch where you could get Lion King and Aladdin, a double pack.
Yeah.
Aladdin's great. Like even like the thieves, not the thieves, the guards, like Razul and his like henchmen, like they're really, really cool characters. Jafar as the old man in the cell is really terrifying. It's really strong. And like the live action one, I have a real problem with the live action Disney films. I don't think they're bad movies. I just think they're just kind of like lesser imitations. Like the one exception of the live action films for me that I really did like was Mulan, and everyone hated that one because like they said it wasn't like the cartoon, and I was like, good. Like the problem with all these live action films is they're exactly like the cartoon, but not quite as good. At least Mulan, they made it different. They made it like a warrior film and stuff. But
I think with Mulan, like I feel like the dragon wouldn't have worked. It's so just like this. Like I just feel like that's like you could have just done whatever you wanted with Mulan. I feel like with Aladdin, it's just like the genie is such an animated character that you could have these sort of like and like it's like it has to do with magic, so you can sort of like suspend belief a bit more with like magic elements. But I thought Will Smith as the genie, with his take was pretty fun
Yeah, I thought he was really good. And, he did some, like, Fresh Prince rapping and stuff, which I think people rolled their eyes at, but I was like, why not? Like, I don't want him to do exactly what Robin Williams did. He can't. He can't do it, and that's not me saying Will Smith is a terrible actor. No one can do what Robin Williams did, so do something different. I also like that Jasmine had a handmaiden, and she was, like, all into the genie. I thought that was pretty funny as well.
Yeah, no, that was good, yeah.
Great. Yeah, Aladdin's a strong one. I think it is my favorite Disney 2D animated film. And that came from that kind of time of rebirth. Like, Disney animation kind of dwindled for a while, and then you had Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and Lion King, and that's when, like, it started picking up again. Yeah. Well, that was both of our number 3, so you get to go straight into number 2 now.
All right, this is probably going to be an unpopular one. Rango.
Rango. I know you like this movie. You talked about it before, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Beck and I went and saw this on a date. So it's planned in my mind for a number of reasons. But I wanted to go see it, and she sort of come along because we're sort of interested in each other. But she didn't want to see the movie at all. But I sort of made her go see it, or she wanted to come just to be there. But I love Rango. It's by Gore Verbinski, if I'm saying that right, by the Pirates of the Caribbean director.
Yeah, Gore Verbinski, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that basically someone's like, hey, do you want to do an animated movie? And he's like, yeah. So he did his take on what an animated movie would be. And obviously it's much different because it's a talking animal movie that's, not really for kids at all. It's a cool old west, Wild West movie with very vivid visuals, and everyone has imperfections. There's a character with an arrow through his eye, and another character's a prosthetic leg. It's not plush at all, and this Johnny Depp's character is just this actor who thinks he's playing a part through the entire movie. So it's sort of it's really funny and strange and quirky, and I mean it's definitely something I was drawn to, and I just liked how it was against the grain. It's definitely stood out, but yeah, it was great because just Johnny Depp's character, Rango, just the idea that he thought he was playing a part and just survived everything because just a pure confidence. It's just an odd movie.
And isn't he because I haven't seen Rango still. You've been telling me for the last 10 years or so to watch this movie. I still haven't watched it. So
I haven't watched it.
I know, I still haven't watched it. But I did watch, it's not on my list, but I did watch a couple of movies you did recommend. I watched Megamind and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and I loved those. So they're not on my list, but they are on my honorable mentions. But I also, when I said Rango, isn't he meant to be a depressed character? Isn't he meant to have some mental health issues? And that's why people were like, what is this?
Yeah, people it's just totally bizarre because it's these characters with serious problems. It's just great. Everyone has depth and layers, and everyone it's just a weird movie about I can't even remember what the message of the movie is that it's just a mature movie with that's just fun to watch in a weird way because it goes for a while, and I mean the visuals are great. The characters are great. I like the Wild West setting. And for some reason, I bought the game twice. One when the movie first came out, and then again, 10 years later, just to play it. For some reason, I just wanted to play Rango, the video game, and them games are the cheap tie-in sort of made games, and I just had to play it for some reason.
I don't mind doing that. They re-released one of the SpongeBob games last year for the first time in 15 years, and I bought that straight away because I was like, I love this game.
What do you think it is? It's a weird nostalgia thing, isn't it?
It's nostalgia, but actually, SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water, for me, is Battle of Bikini Bottom. Sorry, it's called. Was just a great game. It was just really well made. It was really fun. The voice performances were great. The mechanics were really good. The story was great. So for me, I'll do that. I did that with the Mario remasters as well. Even though because some of the consoles I've got, some of them I don't have anymore. That sort of thing. So I just want to play them again. They meant so much to my childhood. I guess it comes back to why I do this podcast at all. So I just want to talk about the things that brought me joy in my childhood and have continued to bring me joy as I've gotten older. So that's probably what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen Rango in a while, so I pretty much forgot, parts of it. But I just remember being like very in love with it when it came out.
But you talk quite knowledgeably about it, so you did all
Well,
right.
I'm a bit slow and hesitated. I was like, I gotta pull this together, but it's fine. It works.
Nice one.
I,
Um,
I, I think it's rated all right. Like people resonate with it, but it's not something like people be like, "That's an amazing movie." I think it was. It just it was cool. That's pretty much it.
Nice one. Well, look, I mean, so far you haven't had an artificial intelligence on here, so I think your list is doing pretty good.
What's your number two?
My number two could easily swap place with my number one. It was really hard for me to decide between these two because I love these films. I would say evenly, um, but I'm going to give this one number two. But again, tomorrow it could change. My number two film is a Pixar film from 2004. I remember the ads for it came out like a year beforehand, and there were so many teasers for it leading up that I'd lost interest. And then I saw it, and it was incredible. It was The Incredibles. I love The Incredibles. Like, I know people make the easy comparison, like, oh, it's the Fantastic Four movie we never got. Like, yes, that's true, but it's just a wonderful story about a family trying to stick together under unusual circumstances. Like, the dad is, ambitious and brash, and he just misses the old days of when he was worshipped by everyone in the city. Whereas the mum is like, look, we had some fun, and now I'm not going to be a hero anymore because they're going to arrest us otherwise. And then you've got two kids, like one who's like a 10-year-old boy and then a teenage girl. The boy just wants to show off his powers, but he's not allowed to. And the girl, ironically, turns invisible and doesn't want to be seen at all anyway. And then they're kind of dragged back into the superhero life. It's so much fun. Like, you've got the villain who was idolized Mr. Incredible as a child, and then when he was rejected, he becomes the villain Syndrome, who's a technology-based villain. And his whole mantra is like, if everyone believes in me as a new hero, I can turn everyone into superheroes, and if everyone's super, then no one is super. Like, it's got some really complex ideas for a kids' film. Like, just this idea of slowly plotted revenge and how to not just punish his hero, but also punish the entire world for being mistreated. You have Samuel L. Jackson as Frozone, which is a really cool character. It looks great. Like, I rewatched it only a couple of weeks ago, and it's definitely aged. Like, Pixar animation has only gotten better over time, so it does look a little bit simple, but it's still really strong. Like, it looks nice and crisp on Blu-ray. The voice performances are great. You've got Edna Mode, who designs all the costumes for the heroes, and she's anti-cape, and there's a great wonderful little stinger about how all these heroes have died. Those are he got sucked into a jet engine, he got yanked into the sea, all this sort of stuff for wearing capes. It's just fun. It's really, really fun. It's really heartwarming. It's just about the family, trying to keep themselves together. As I mentioned. You have the fun with Jack, how he's a baby who's shown no powers, and then turns out he has every power, including turning a goblin thing, which they play with in the sequel. There's a real James Bond feeling to it because the villain lives on a deserted island, inside a volcano, and he's got a henchwoman who's a bit of a bombshell and stuff, and he can turn invisible. It's just so much fun. I just love it so much.
I'm pretty sure the director was the person who did the Iron Giant. I think I watched something on it not so long ago.
It is Brad Bird who did the Iron Giant, which I struggled not to put the Iron Giant on my list either. But he did, he's done a couple of things. But Brad Bird did both Incredibles movies.
The Incredibles was groundbreaking for Pixar because it's they changed their systems or their sort of workflow for this movie because they sort of let one person sort of take over it. I'm pretty sure, but also it was a more violent movie as well.
Yeah, kids get shot at in this movie. There are guns in this movie.
Yeah. So it was pretty different for them, and I would say that the animation would have been good for its time as well.
And he's got those weird octopus drone things, and the only way to kill them is to make them stab themselves with their own claws.
Yeah, I love the. It's I'm trying to think of is it the sort of 60s, 70s superhero style that they sort of grabbed from when designing.
It's very like 50s, 60s mod. Like they really play with that style. And then they really lean into the second one as well. Like so much so that they're like in like an Art Deco house that like has hidden pools and stuff.
Yeah, I really like the robot style. I thought it was really good. I didn't like the second movie. I thought that you could see the plot from a mile away. Like I liked the idea. I just didn't think the overall plot was like really exciting. Like I was like, I know what's happening. I can sort of see you're not doing a good job hiding it or making it exciting.
I do like the second one. It's not as good as the first one. Like, and I don't know, like they waited.
It was gonna be hard to like beat the first one.
And you had 14 years of expectations. I think it's the longest gap between movies for a Pixar film. Like generally, like the sequels are pretty close together. It was the longest gap was 14 years, and like people were waiting for that sequel for so long because it was so strong. It's certainly not a bad film. If that was the only Incredibles film, it would be a great Incredibles film. But the first one is just better. It's just because it's just so unique and so different. They also in that first movie, there's a whole subplot where Mrs. Incredible or Elastigirl thinks her husband is having an affair. Like that's in a kid's animated film, and like she finds hair on his clothing, and like the woman that he's seeing, who he's not having an affair with, is very like, sexy isn't the right word, but she's very much a bombshell. She's very like slender and has like these large eyes, and she has a very sultry voice. And like you see, like Elastigirl listen to the phone calls and hear them talking in hushed whispers. Like it's very, again, like I talked about this with one of the earlier films. It's very complex for a kids' film. It's way more complex than it needs to be, and because of it, I think it resonates with adults as well. Like that's why I can still watch it and enjoy it because there's so much in there.
Yeah, I think there was at some point I feel like there was a shift with animated movies where it was just like about I mean, traditionally all the sort of things that come before were like kids movies, but then as you entered like this new era of like animated movies, like the writing for them sort of evolved to a point where you're like, well, you got to get someone in here, to take the kid. How do we make this entertaining for everyone? And I feel like that's the way it sort of goes now. It's like they put in like adult jokes. I mean, adult jokes are all, like all cartoons, right? But obviously they go over like most kids' heads. But now you got people taking their kids to see these movies in theaters, and like people tell more complex stories. So I think what makes Incredibles good and memorable is that everyone was like, yeah, that was a good movie, because it's like it was just like it just wasn't a kids movie. Like there's like mature content in there, that you could watch at any age and sort of watch it and enjoy it.
And I think you're right about that shift. I think that shift begins with The Simpsons. I think that's the cartoon that really does it. And one of the writers on The Simpsons during the early 90s, when the show was at its peak, was Brad Bird. Like Brad Bird was on The Simpsons, and then he went and did Iron Giant, and then he went and did Incredible. So like, it kind of makes sense.
You know what's really funny? I thought I read this somewhere, but I can't remember. I think it was the Adventure Time cartoonist who was actually doing stuff for The Simpsons as well. The guy who made Adventure Time worked on The Simpsons as well.
Pendleton Ward?
Yeah, I thought I read that somewhere. I can't remember.
It's possible. I love Adventure Time. Like there's so many episodes of Adventure Time. I no longer know what Adventure Time is about because they went for like 12 seasons, and I think I stopped around halfway through season 5. But gee, the show is so wonderful.
I'm just gonna double check that, so I'm not seeing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that he was.
I can look it up while we're talking. Pendleton Ward.
Yeah. Just trying to find it. Pretty sure he was responsible for some of The Simpsons.
Let me have a look. He's done a bunch of stuff. He did Bravest Warriors as well, obviously.
Yeah, you introduced me to that.
I don't see him as a writer on The Simpsons, but he has worked on a lot of Nickelodeon stuff. There you go.
He helped with the cartoon.
He was an actor in a Simpsons. He did a performance in a Simpsons episode.
Yeah, maybe it was someone else. I definitely read. Maybe it was a different artist. Yeah.
I don't know.
Someone who apparently like helped define the color of The Simpsons and the style and all that. I thought it was him. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. There you go.
Weird tangent.
There we are. Number one, your favorite animated film of all time.
This is not fun because I already brought it up in the last episode with us, but it's A Nightmare for Christmas. So it'll be more of an interesting time going through like the special mentions, but yeah, just an awesome stop motion movie that created a bunch of like just defined like pop culture in a different way and what a Christmas movie could be essentially. I mean, I fell in love with it pretty much. It's just like it was just cool, creepy. The songs are really good. It's a Disney.
I was going to say, is this the animated film or is this the Disney film with the best soundtrack then for you?
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, like, all the songs are pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a classic. It stands out like as something different in Disney's catalog for animated movies.
The visual style is so striking. Like it just. Like Jack Skellington, like even though he's kind of become like a symbol for emo kids now, like you just don't see like there's nothing else out there that looks like him. Even now, like, no one's tried to copy it because you can't imitate it. Like, that visual style. The only person who's copied it is Tim Burton himself. Like when he's gone back and done like Frankenweenie and Corpse Bride and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that have been inspired by. Like I know the Medieval game. They were like, the take was trying to make a Tim Burton inspired sort of video game, which I think successfully did in their own way. But yeah, no, it's a big deal to me. It sort of introduced me to the world of animation. I think the characters are unique. It's not your typical sort of cartoon. Yeah.
It's definitely. It's one of those films that I haven't watched enough. Like, I've seen it only a handful of times. And I do really enjoy it, and I do agree. I think the music is great. The little like trick or treater monster things are really cool. Like Oogie Boogie, obviously, is very cool. Like, there's a lot of fun to be had with. It's just one that I haven't revisited enough. But I guarantee you, like when we get to Christmas movies with the kid, like she'll be checking that out pretty soon. I imagine. Like my wife's a huge fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. So
yeah, it's great. It's like there's so many like. I mean, I love the dog as well. How like the dog ends up being like the front reindeer.
Yeah.
It's weird because it like remains being like this weird, scary thing, but like cool and sort of like friendly at the same time. So it just walks that line very closely, I think, because you're like, well, this is a weird kids movie, but you're like, it's so like visually stimulating and interesting, and the songs are great, and that's for me, like that's like my childhood of all them old shows. Like it's just like all them old shows sort of like walk the line between like being child friendly and not. I really like that one because it's like people still like had less limitations on what they could do, and like I feel like it's definitely a masterpiece.
Yeah, definitely. Which is if you had to pick, like, what's the song that like probably stands out for you as like your favorite in Nightmare Before Christmas? Like, is it What's This? Like, that's the one I think a lot of people go to.
I mean, I feel like I have to say This Is Halloween just because like I like the theme, but What's This would come right after.
I also like. I
also like Oogie Boogie's song as well, but I just like the visuals for that.
I probably like What's This and This Is Halloween probably stick out as the most memorable and catchy. But I really like Kidnap the Sandy Claus. I like that as well. Like, yeah, it's a good movie and it's a great soundtrack.
Yeah, I remember the game. The end boss like would take like he'd visit like I think Oogie tried to like go to through the other doors, and like the end boss was just like a mix of all like decoration from the other places and sort of stuff. So like you dealt with like different variations of Oogie.
I don't think I even knew that there was a game, but it makes sense. Like it definitely like the art style lends for a game.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like you'd have like this rubber whip, like this goo whip. it just suited Jack. Like it's just weird. I was like, how did they decide on it? But it's such a good idea. Yeah. It's definitely like a fan service. Like it was good.
Nice one. I don't think it matters that was on your list last time. Like we didn't talk about the same things. Like we talked about different things at this time. So yeah, and if it's your favorite movie of all time, and it also happens to be animated, or one of your favorites of all time has to be animated, like it's going to show on this list as well, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I'm disappointed that not as much merch coming out. You know, I feel like it's the same thing with Harry Potter. Like we just hit this like golden merch age. And like I'm too old to really get into all the merch now. But I got a fair amount of Nightmare Before Christmas toys. They got me actual frames, you know, the little film frames that you
Oh,
can
the
get
cells?
the cells. Yeah, she got me that. So I got them sort of on the shelf somewhere.
Right. Yeah, well, the problem is that the merch that we like these days is too expensive. Like, those figurines and stuff are like so costly, and I can't do anything with them. I've got nowhere to put them, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
I just like looking at them.
I was actually looking at a figurine today that's the Darksiders 2, the death from Darksiders 2. And I was like, I gotta get this. And it's like $900. And I was like, oh, I'm not getting that.
You're like, no, oh wait. Yeah, I
what's your number
remember.
one?
I remember a couple of years ago they released the Hot Toys figure of Thanos from Infinity War, and like it had a light up Infinity Gauntlet, like all the stones, and it was like $700. I was like, that's awesome. It looks exactly like how it should, and I was just like, what am I gonna do with it? It's huge. Like, where am I gonna put it? Like, my mum and my sister got me a bat signal a few years ago. I haven't taken out the box because I'm like, well, A, the dogs will probably pee on it, and second of all, like, how often am I going to light up the bat signal in my own house? Like, and that's not me being ungrateful. I love it. I just don't have anywhere to put it at the moment, and like, I've got no PowerPoint that I can just plug it in and use it. So it'll have to wait. But I do want to hook that up.
Yeah.
My number one is a relatively new film. It was my favorite film of the year when it came out. Visually striking. A great soundtrack, even though it's not a musical. Like, just had a really cool, and like not a soundtrack I was expecting to like, because it was very very like hip hop based and stuff like that. It's also a movie you heavily criticized before, and it's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, no wonder you acted the way you did when you heard me say that.
Yeah, I thought it was so amusing me talking about. I was like, well, I'm going to disappoint him in an hour's time.
Yeah.
I get all the criticisms, like I understand, but for me, I just think, like, to me, it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I just think, first of all, the art style is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. It looks like a comic book. It's this weird 3D cell shaded. You've got little like poetics showing up where, like, if a car crashes, it's like scree, or like when someone throws a bagel at someone, it says bagel. Like, that's so good. The hip hop soundtrack I did not expect to like. I'm not a big hip hop guy. I don't mind it, but I just don't go in for it. And it really suits the vibe and the personality of Miles Morales. I think it's really beautifully done. Like, it is so much tragedy. Like, all Spider-Man films and stories are based on tragedy. A family member has to die so that the hero can then rise. And you have the death of his uncle. Mahershala Ali plays the Prowler and is really good in it. Haley Steinfeld, who I'm not the world's biggest fan of, although I really liked her in Hawkeye just recently. She's great as Spider-Gwen. I think Kingpin is really tragic. Like, Kingpin's one of my favorite villains from the comic books, and he looks like that in the comics. He looks ridiculously large and beyond like what a human should look like. But like, you see how like the whole reason he's opened up this particle collider to try and get to the multiverse is because he lost his wife and child. I think that's really beautiful. I think all the Spider-Men are great. Like, Nick Cage's Spider-Man Noir is really funny. John Mulaney as Spider-Ham, who had to be drawn by hand. They didn't CGI him. They had to learn how to animate the old way to get him in there. Who else is there? You've got Penny Parker, like the spider robot, which I didn't know anything about, but I really liked. You've got Peter B. Parker, who's like middle-aged, like midlife crisis Spider-Man, who can't fit into his spider suit anymore, so he's just wearing sweatpants. There's just so much joy in it, which you should get from a Spider-Man film. Like, the story of Spider-Man is always like, he's a teenager and he's got these most amazing powers ever, but like, he struggles to walk that double life. He struggles to be the teenager. He struggles to be the friend. He struggles to be the boyfriend or the nephew and be a superhero at the same time. I think it does it really well, whilst having a lot of humor in it and a lot of heart. This film made me cry multiple times. The first time was when Stan Lee's cameo showed up, because this movie came out right after Stan Lee died. And I remember, like, just sobbing my eyes out, being like, "Oh my god!" And then apparently, if you watch it, Stanley is in the film about 100 times. Like in every crowd scene, there's just a random animated Stanley in there.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
I love the idea that like he presents, which is Spider-Man can be anyone. Anyone can put on the mask. Like I think that's a really wonderful message. Like not just for kids, like obviously for kids, but also for adults. Like anyone can be anything. Like, but you have to take that step. You have to jump into the unknown. You have to like step into fear and just give into it and see what happens. And like that's why in that final act, you have Miles finally leap off the building and he can finally control his powers. But like when he jumps off the building, he takes some of the glass with him because he's not quite ready to jump. So like he's a little bit hesitant. I love all the villains. I think Doc Ock is great. I love how she's got these weird like plastic tube octopus arms.
I dug Mel Doc Ock. Like I thought that was a great like I was like I want to see more of like a female. Not just because she's female, but I feel like I was excited to see like like a female Doc Ock and like what that would be like. So I really enjoyed that movie for like exploring more things that we haven't seen. Like
it was such
like,
a twist. Like I just didn't expect it. Like not for one moment did I ever think she was going to be Doc Ock, and then it was revealed. I was like, this is amazing. I loved that. Like the Aunt May of it all, because the Peter B. Parker, who's in a midlife crisis, he lost his Aunt May and she lost her Peter, but then they kind of got to connect and like almost made up for the fact they lost people. You saw all the different spider suits. I loved at the end, like you find out that this Peter Parker, like the Peter B. Parker, the one who's like he's put on too much weight and can't fit into it. I think he's my favorite character in the movie because he represents all of us. Like we've all put on a bit of weight. We're all probably, made some mistakes or said some dumb things. We've all like said the wrong thing to the girl or lost someone. And like, so we all going to live vicariously through him. We've all like had pizza at 2 a.m. when we should probably be sleeping and you're eating healthy. Like I don't know. I very much related to him. And then, when you see at the end of the film, he's trying to get his act back together. He reaches out to MJ again. Like, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I definitely agreed. Like that's I guess for me, and I guess like Beck as well. Like that's sort of we sort of felt like there's some really like very strong um, moments in the movie, especially with the uncle as well. I wish they explored that more. And I just got bogged down with just the amount of Spider-Mans and how much screen time was sort of wasted, on like having extra Spider-Mans there and like all these extra subplots. Like, I mean, like I just think there's some really cool things that they could have simplified down. If anything, I wanted a simpler movie. I like Spider-Gwen. I didn't think they needed the robot one. I know they were going for like multiple. I mean, I like John Mulaney as like Spider-Pig. Obviously, I thought that was great, and I like Noir Spider-Man. He's probably one of my favorite. But I just thought like there's a real like I just want to see more of that sort of serious side of the story between a fewer Spider-Mans and the uncle and uh the main villain. What's his
Kingpin?
Kingpin, yeah. I was trying to think of his other name.
Wilson Fisk?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just wanted a simpler movie so they could explore the characters more. I think.
I definitely hear that. It definitely is crowded, but I was also like, look, at this point I've seen 7 Spider-Man movies, and each one of those have only had one Spider-Man in. So like so I didn't care. Like, I'm glad they skipped the origin. What I did love was that whenever like a new Spider person showed up, they're like, all right, here's the story one more time. And they go through the origin. They'd go their way to make fun of it because we've seen it so many times. Like to me, it might be pretty close to a perfect movie for me. Like I hear the criticisms and I understand why people don't like it, but for me, I just don't care. Like, it's just so much fun. It's so heartfelt. It just looks amazing. And the sequel is a 2-parter. The next one is Across the Spider-Verse, and they're doing 2 parts because they want to really get all the story in this time.
Yeah. Do you feel like it was weird seeing this movie and then seeing like the next Spider-Man and how much that sort of felt familiar from this movie? Because it sort of felt like
No Way Home, you mean?
Yeah, because like we sort of like it's sort of weird because like you're like, oh, Spider-Man's like doing like this into the Spider-Verse, and then we get the multiverse with like a middle-aged Spider-Man, and like just like it sort of feels like the same thing, except we don't get Miles, obviously. Which
Not
was
yet.
another good, well that was one of the benefits of the movie is someone actually did Miles for a change. That's what it's overdue. Like we need Miles.
One of my favorite things, and I will answer your question, but one of my favorite things about Miles's origin is like because the spider bite has always been made so dramatic in these movies. When it bites a Miles, he goes, and just like slaps it off, like doesn't even care.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was weird. I think we're very fortunate we got into the Spider Verse first because I think that's a concept that works really well in animation, and like you can kind of test it out in animation before committing to your entire cinematic universe to that idea. And I think after the success of it, they're like, all right, we can probably do this. And now it's funny, like both big, like major comic book film companies are doing it. Like Marvel is racing towards the multiverse with Doctor Strange this in May, and DC's Flash movie is about to go multiversal as well. So they're both doing it.
I
Um,
feel like one of them is I feel like DC's is a contingency rather than like a goal. I feel like they've made a mess of everything. Like, how are you going to bring Rob Patterson into?
oh, I don't think he will. I don't think he's meant to be part of that unit.
Yeah, so like there's still got a Batman problem for Justice League.
Well, this is not a secret. This has been out there for a while. Michael Keaton's playing Batman, so he's going to be Batman in the Flash, and then he's going to be Batgirl's mentor in Batgirl. So Michael Keaton
What?
from the '80s is coming back. Yeah,
I think everybody gave him so much shit for being Batman, and he still remains one of the best Batman. I love Tim Burton's Batman. I thought Michael Keaton was a brilliant choice.
yeah.
I mean, I'm biased because I'm Tim Burton biased, but I mean, I prefer him over George Clooney or like Was it Val Kilmer who played
I like Val
Batman?
Kilmer as Batman. I think George Clooney. I think George Clooney has a really good. Like, if he was to do it again today, like that'd be great redemption. Like, give him another chance to do it.
Yeah.
But yes, and yeah, Michael Keaton's coming back, but Ben Affleck's in this Flash movie as well. And the rumors are that at the end of this Flash movie, they're going to leave the Snyder universe kind of to the side, so they're not closing it over. They're going to like, look, if we decide to go back there, we can, but we're going to be realigning our main timeline. So it does feel like the Flash movie is a bit of course correction with their multiverse, but at the same time, like, I mean, if I get 3 Batmans in a movie, I don't care. Great, like, I'll watch it.
You know what my main problem with people like just like the consumer and like every time a new Batman is announced that everyone complains that he doesn't have like the actor they pick doesn't have the right look or like the right chin or the right build. And I was like, yeah, but it doesn't matter because like the suit pads them out for
That's it.
one. And like who cares about their chin? And like just it's whatever. It's like you want people to do their variations and pick weird actors and who you don't. You can't just have a generic, strong guy play, the actor, or you get a stupid performance, or you don't get something interesting. Like I don't get why people like go, oh, you can't have this person as a Joker, or like it's like you were saying, like people make obvious choices based on looks rather than like
Yeah.
what someone to the table.
Well, I was too young to care about casting of Batman until Ben Affleck was cast. Because even when Christian Bale was cast, I don't really know who that was. I didn't really care about. I was like a kid still. I just wanted to see a Batman movie. But I remember when Affleck was announced, everyone was like, "Why would you do that?" And I was like, "Have you seen Ben Affleck act? Like that's why. Like he's great." And he is like he's the best part of those movies. Like in terms of the casting, I think he's the best casting in those films. And when Robert Pattinson was announced, same thing. I was like, oh, Twilight. I was like, okay. So a guy in 2020 who's been announced Batman, you're comparing to a 2007 performance, like when he was a kid. Like, come on, like give the guy a chance. Like he's done so many weird, dark movies since then, and he proved them all wrong.
Yeah,
But I think no one's. I said he proved them all wrong. No one's criticized his Batman. Like of all the complaints I've heard about the Batman, he has never been in there. Like no one's criticized his performance at all. So they're going to complain until the end of the day. Like they're always going to complain about casting. Like they're going to announce Mr. Fantastic soon for Fantastic Four, and if it's not John Krasinski, the internet's going to go wild. But I don't care. Like I like that Marvel makes weird choices. Like I like that Paul Rudd is Ant-Man. Like what a weird choice that just works. I hope Mr. Fantastic is Bill Hader. I think that'd be a great choice. Like because that's so weird.
Yeah, I'd be down for that in an instant.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, go weird.
I feel like I was reading an article the other day about the Fantastic Four writer, and how they had to deal with that remake and how much of a mess it was. Because he's the Moon Knight writer. Yeah, Moon
Yeah,
Knight writer. Yeah. I think Fantastic Four. I feel like people just don't know what to do with it. I feel like they have they have to do something more interesting than just doing the baseline superhero movie, and I think that's the problem.
well, the
So
guy
it's
who's done the last 3 Spider-Man movies, his next movie is Fantastic Four, so he's been given the Fantastic Four. I think it's a good choice. Anyway, that's what I've got to say about Spider-Verse. I love it. I think it's great. But yeah, like that and Incredibles could easily change tomorrow. Like, I love them both so much.
Yeah, no, Spider-Verse is really cool. I just like, yeah, my criticisms. Still think it's an awesome movie. I actually think, like, I like Spider-Man No Way Home. I just think, like, it just feel like doubled down for me, and now it's a blur between them.
Yeah.
I definitely think, like, doing Miles is, like, really cool, like, entry into, like, that sort of Spider-Man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. No Way Home, the only problem with No Way Home, and I know we're not doing a Spider-Man episode, but because you brought up, definitely No Way Home, is that none of the villains in that movie are our Spider-Man's villains. Like, they're all villains for other Spider-Man. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't have his own villain in there. But aside from that, it's fine. I imagine you've got quite a few honorable mentions. We won't spend as much time talking about them as we have this, otherwise we'll never finish up. I'm looking at my list, and it might be close to 50. So maybe we'll just, like, rattle off a couple and see how we go.
All right. How do you want to do this?
Well, you can list a couple, and I can kind of like, oh yeah, I agree, or we can just, I don't know.
All right. Wally.
Absolutely.
I love this movie. It almost made it in, but it didn't. It'd probably be interchangeable with Mitchell's versus the Machines. I think it's just like I love like little innocent characters like trying to like figure out the world. I really like Wally and the story and everything. It's just a cool movie. Little Mermaid. I grew up liking that a lot. I don't know why. Just thought it was cool. Wallace and Gromit is a good movie.
Wallace and Gromit, absolutely. Curse the Were-Rabbit is so good. That was on my list of honorable mentions.
Yeah. I'll do 3 and then move on, I think.
Okay. Are those your 3?
Yeah, I'll do my 3 and then move on.
I'm not even gonna talk about this. I'm just gonna read out my list because there's so many, and I don't want any film to feel like it hasn't got its its recognition. So first of all, Toy Story. Like, didn't make my list, but the first 3 Toy Story films in particular are wonderful. A Bug's Life, which I'm pretty sure is a movie that you and I saw together for my birthday when I was a child. Like, A Bug's Life is amazing. Mulan, I've mentioned a couple of times. Obviously, really wonderful. I didn't see that until I was in my late 20s, but I love it. The Lion King, Finding Nemo, How to Train Your Dragon, like, has one of the darkest endings for a kid's film ever, where like the child literally gets an amputation. Like, that's what happens to your child in the movie. I love Kung Fu Panda. It's a bit of a meme now, but Shrek. I think that first Shrek film was really wonderful. I think there's a lot of fun to be had in that Shrek film.
Shrek is on Beck's top 5, which is funny.
Rise of the Guardians is a film that I watched as an adult.
That one's great. Yeah. Alec
Baldwin is like a tattooed Russian Santa Claus. Like, and they're trying to stop Jack Frost. No, is it Jack Frost they're trying to stop? Yeah. All the mythical holiday creatures like make a superhero team. Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
Fern Gully was a big one in my childhood.
Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that one. Yeah, I love that. I love that movie growing up. That's a big one for me.
Yeah, An American Tail, and Fievel Goes West, like the little Jewish mouse who goes to America. Like, that's really wonderful. The Rescuers, Down Under. There's Basil the Great Mouse Detective, which is basically Sherlock Holmes with a mouse. I really liked Frozen. I think Frozen's a great movie. The sequel, not so much, but the first one's really fun. Brave Little Toaster was a big one from my childhood.
Yeah.
I love Paranorman. I think Paranorman's a wonderful dark stop motion animation film.
Yeah, that one's good. Yeah.
And Kubo and the Two Strings I really liked as well. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but
what was it?
Kubo and the Two Strings.
I don't know that one.
So it's the same. It's the same film company that did Paranorman and Coraline, and it's about a young boy who like plays an instrument and he can like turn these paper cranes into like magic and stuff. It's really beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this.
You would love it. You would love it. Nightmare Before Christmas we talked about. Corpse Bride I really like. This is kind of a live action and an animation one. James and the Giant Peach I really liked as a kid.
We were talking about this the other day. Yeah. Very good.
And then Fantastic Mr. Fox, was more of a recent one. We talked about Wallace and Gromit, but Chicken Run is really good.
Yeah, Chicken Run's good.
And then, like we talked about some Nickelodeon films, Jimmy Neutron I really enjoyed. Rugrats in Paris I think is beautiful. Despicable Me is really great. Like I didn't so much like the sequels, but the first one's really good.
First one's good. We didn't need the rest, but fine.
Sorry?
We didn't need the rest. Like the first one's good. We didn't need the whatever come after it. Like
2, 3, and Minions. Yeah, like it became a franchise. That's fine. Like I'm sure kids love it, but after the first one, I kind of stopped. We talked about South Park, which is a great movie, like really funny. It's one of the few like TV show movies that works really well.
Yeah.
Big Hero 6 is great.
Yes.
Emperor's New Groove is a really
yes.
You know what I mean? Like there's so many I could it was so hard to pick.
I've got a memory tied to you with that, and I can't remember what it is. I don't know whether we watched it together at some point or we were like laughing at the jokes from it, but I just associate Emperor's New Groove with you, and I can't remember what the memory is.
I know what it is. We didn't see it together, but we used to laugh because the guy who plays Joe in Family Guy is Kronk. And he's like, get a load of this guy. He's even doing his own theme music.
Yeah.
Zootopia. I love Zootopia. I think that's a really fun Disney animation film.
I was surprised by that movie. I was very cynical watching because I'm very against talking animal movies because I was like, but it actually surprised me with its story and message. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's just it's a detective movie. It's just a detective movie within the animal kingdom. Some newer ones or some newer ones that a lot of people wouldn't think about. I liked Scoob, the new Scooby-Doo animated one. I really liked it. I thought it was really fun. Really cute. I like the Snoopy Charlie Brown movie that came out recently. I cried throughout that film nonstop. Who Framed Roger Rabbit obviously is a classic.
Oh yeah, that was on my list. Yeah, that was one of the first cartoons I was really into. I had a Roger Rabbit toy that I carried around with me everywhere.
Yeah, I had one as well. We had a window one, Roger Rabbit who's stuck on the window with little adhesives. Yeah. And then we talked about the SpongeBob movies, but those first two are great. That first one in particular is so good.
So ridiculous, so good.
And then we mentioned Megamind, we mentioned Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, we mentioned Iron Giant, but it was an impossible task to pick 5 because all of those, any one of those could easily move into my top 5 at any point. They're all wonderful.
Yeah. I've got a few.
Go for it. Yeah, run through them.
Space Jam.
Yep.
Land Before Time.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. The Futurama movies, obviously, they're great.
I don't think I've seen them except for maybe Bender's Big Score.
Is that the dice one, the D&D one?
No, that one's Ender's. That one's Bender's Game, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've seen that one as well.
Possibly.
Yeah. The Book of Life, Del Toro's animated movie.
I've never seen Book of Life.
It's cool. He had the goal of making the animation look like the concept art. So they got concept art done, and he's like, I wanted it to look like that, and I thought that was really cool. It's just really cool.
I'm behind, in terms of Disney animation, I'm behind by a few years. I haven't seen Coco. I haven't seen Luca. I haven't seen Raya and the Lost Dragon. I haven't seen.
Luca's actually really good. I watched it with my nephews a few weeks ago.
Which one?
It's Luca.
Yeah, they all look wonderful. I'm just behind. I'll get there because at a certain point I was like, do we watch them or we just wait till Zoe's 6 months old and then we just do all the Disney movies? That's kind of where my head's at the moment.
Yeah. Even the classics though, 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
All the Disney classics, obviously.
I didn't put it on my list, but Robin Hood, that Disney animated Robin Hood is really fun. Jungle Book as well.
Jungle Book, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could list them all really, but
I guess the moral of the story, I guess what we're getting at here is that there's not really that many bad animated films.
could you think of a bad animated film?
Probably I think the one that disappointed me the most was Despicable Me 2. Because I loved Despicable Me. I thought Despicable Me was so clever and a really great idea. And Despicable Me 2, like, it was really just like like we're setting up the Minions movie. Like, they didn't really care about story. And I remember at the end, like when all the evil minions, like the purple ones, are taking over, out of nowhere, like there's no reason for it. The doctor just swoops in and is like, "Oh, I came up with a cure." I was like, "Oh, so that's how you're like solving the problem? Like we're not solving it with our minds. We're just like throwing in a random cure." Like I remember being really disappointed by that because I was like, "This should have been cleverer." I also didn't love Finding Dory. Like it looked beautiful, but to me, I was like, well, it's just the same movie. Like I've seen this movie before and done in a more original way. Not a bad movie. Like if you saw Finding Dory first, I'm sure you'd love it. But for me, who's seen Finding Nemo, I was like, okay, like it's fine.
Yeah, I was never into the Cars movies. I've only seen
the first one because I wanted to see 2 because Michael Caine plays a spy car. I was like, I want to see that. That sounds cool, but to see it, I've got to see 1. And after I watched 1, I was like, I don't like it, and it's not bad. It's just not for me, you know.
I never gravitated towards it. I thought Madagascar is a good one that we never really talked about.
Oh yeah, I never really got on board with Madagascar. Like I didn't dislike it, but I just like I remember I saw it in the theaters, and like I just for a comedy, it seemed to be trying very hard to make me laugh and wasn't succeeding. And so then I was just like, I should give it another go now that I'm a bit older. Like now that I'm older, I might have a bit better appreciation for it.
Yeah.
But there's not too many that I dislike. I generally like most of them. I'm really looking forward to this Bob's Burgers movie. I don't know.
Yeah. To see what they're going to do with it. Yeah, like whether they're going to like. I always find it interesting when TV shows do movies because it's like, what path are you going to take? Because it's like, I don't know how I can't remember that I like the Simpsons movie that much, and people sort of like that pig bit, and that was about it. That's like you have to. How do you turn that? There has to be some sort of event that sort of like captures the essence of the show, but puts it on a larger scale.
Yeah, like I like the Simpsons movie. It's not on my list anywhere. Like I think it's a good animated film, but like it's just never going to compete with the best episodes. Like the best episodes they've done. Like it felt like it was very late. Like they did it like around the time they released season 20. Like there were 20 seasons before they did their movie, and I feel like if they'd done in the 90s when they were really like firing on all cylinders, they probably could have come to something really special. And I like that movie. Like it's fun, and like they do some weird stuff in it. Like, and they do like some crazy stuff actually. Like like Bart's naked in that movie, and you see it. Like that's a weird choice.
Yeah. Do you know what something? Just I was watching. I was reading something, and someone said that Apu is the only character on that show that has the most growth on The Simpsons over all the season. And if you think about it, it's true. He gets married. He has kids. He he's has to run a business. He goes through bits and pieces. Like he's like one of the only characters in the show that actually has growth. Because how there's been so much controversy around his character, and someone defended that character to say, well, no, everyone's a stereotype, but that character is actually, he's a friend of like the Simpsons, and he's the only character that goes through growth, like in that entire show. Like everyone else resets, but he doesn't.
Yeah, and it's not like he's like, I mean, he's not even really a friend. He's just like the guy who runs the shop, but like he's part of Homer's Barbershop Quartet. He's part of the Pin Pals. Like he gets a lot of like random like weird appearances. Like I was referencing that episode where he gets fired from the Quickie Mart today. Actually, do you remember like when Homer has to like hide the camera and he's got that giant hat on, and like it's a huge like VCR camera.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting that someone pointed out that Apu's like one of the only characters that actually grows through the entire run.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad point. It is really interesting. So yeah, I do like that movie, but yeah, as I said, like it's just far too late. Like even like the South Park movie is still not as good as some of its best episodes, but it is pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, they definitely like hit the ground running with like just the concept.
well, I guess like they were like, look, we have swearing in our show, but we're not allowed to do it. We want to show what we can do if we were uncensored, so let's do a movie. Um, I'm trying to think of other like SpongeBob. I think the movie is probably as good as some of its best episodes. Like, it's a really good movie.
I don't know what it is though, because I don't know what makes SpongeBob an easy translation to movie than it would be like for Simpsons. Maybe just the way the humor's set up. You know, it'll be interesting to see what Bob's Burgers how that sort of does it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a good job at it.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think they've got every reason to succeed. I think there's no reason why it can't be a great movie. It's a really talented cast, and for me, like for my money, I think it's the most consistent of the animated shows that I watch. Like Simpsons goes up and down, and I've seen some of the new episodes, and I don't think they're bad. I just think that they're not for me. Like, and not as saying like, oh, that's not my Simpsons, but it isn't. Like, they're writing for this generation's kids. They're writing for the 14 and 15-year-olds of today. Well, I've been 14 or 15 for almost 20 years now, so of course it's not for me. Um,
Mm.
whereas
I
like
know.
whereas Bob's was never like a teen show. Like, I'm sure teens do watch it, but it's more adult humor, even though it's fairly tame. So like it's about a guy just trying to live his life and just achieve his very small dream of running a business. And I think we, as adults, we kind of all relate to that a little bit. Like, I just want to pay my bills and look after my family. Like,
Yeah, yeah. There's a certain charm to it that sets it aside from all the other sort of. I mean, like, there's always this sort of formula where it's like, here's a cartoon TV show about a family,
mm.
um, sort of replicated over and over again. But Bob's Burgers does it in a refreshing yet similar way, familiar way, I guess.
And I think with that show, like, they find humor and beauty in the mundane. Like The Simpsons, like they go into space and there's aliens and there's monsters and all sorts of stuff. But like Bob's Burgers, everything is real. Like, there's no like supernatural elements. There's no crazy adventures. They very like every episode takes place in the restaurant. Like, they very rarely travel very far. Um, and they actually, that's another show that like has a lot of music. Like, they have a different song every episode as well, and the songs are always pretty good. So um,
Me and Beck always we always skip the singing episodes. We know as these like a show's run out of material when they enter like the musical episode because they've like done all their good material and stuff. I mean, but Bob's Burgers drops them like nothing through seasons now.
And I think that Bob's Burgers is probably one of the few shows. This is definitely not the Bob's Burgers show, but we definitely just got onto a tangent. I think it's one of the few animated series where the female characters are as funny as the male characters, if not funnier. Like, Tina is a really well written character. Louise is a
Yeah.
very funny character. Like, Linda is genius. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying because, like, in most shows, like the females are sort of written as the moral sort of counterparts to, like, the sort of male, setups for the jokes. You need someone to offset, like, Marge is like the moral
like she
sort of high
nags.
ground.
Like, she's like, her thing is that she nags, and she has some funny moments. Like, they're not all like, she's not completely like, she does get some jokes, but she doesn't get many. And Lisa's kind of the same. Like, Lisa doesn't have many jokes either. It's
The moral standing, like, and then like Bart counteracts that, and Homer counteracts that. It's sort of like even like in the Flintstones, like Fred is like goes on and does his thing, but his wife's his like moral high ground. So like they're just constantly telling them off. It's like
at least Flintstones has the excuse of being in the '60s when we were less progressive. Like,
I will, yeah, I will say that like at least like American Dad, like Francine is just like unhinged sometimes and crazy. Even like Lois from Family Guy, like they're more interesting females.
or is it Haley? Is Haley the daughter in American Dad?
Haley feels like Lisa to me. She's sort of like the moral. She's still funny, but like I guess they take that moral sort of high ground to the next level.
Well, no, because she has that funny episode where, like, isn't her boyfriend's brain put into Stan's body, and she has to like to.
I'm rewatching American Dad now. I was like, because I haven't seen all the new seasons and all that sort of stuff because I sort of got over watching that show. But like how each character is like plays off each other is really funny.
I always think of and the paprika not enough. Like,
I just love Stan, and I love Roger and Stan going against each other all the time. It's like it's just a great sort of back and forth between the characters.
I remember we were losing our minds to an episode of American Dad where Stan gets anorexia, like because he thinks he's really fat, and like somehow like they took a very serious, scary illness that no one would ever dare make fun of, and make it so funny. It was so funny, like it was just so well written.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always I think preferred American Dad to Family Guy, just because they like just the character. I think the characters are better. Like you mentioned, like Francine is a really funny character.
Yeah.
She's really done like Steve. Like, do you remember the episode where like Steve and Stan get boobs?
Yeah. I I feel like it's more grounded in reality than Family Guy. But I don't know what Family Guy is, but I feel like the themes are more interesting in American Dad, and like just the comedy is a lot funnier than just even like Stan's boss like just jumps in and he's great as well.
Which is Patrick Stewart. Like Patrick Stewart
Yeah,
plays his boss.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. Well, that's we're going to wrap it up. We've been talking a long time about cartoons, which makes sense because obviously we love them and we can't stop talking about them. I want to thank Josh for being a guest on this episode, and he'll be back again. He's already told me what he wants to talk about next, and it's definitely going to be a great time. So he'll be back on again soon. In the meantime, I want to thank you for listening. Please check out the show. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and Anchor FM. I know you're listening to the show right now, but you might want to recommend it to your friends. You might even want to review it and give us a couple of stars. You don't
Five.
have to do 5?
Do 5. You have to tell them to do 5. You have to do 5.
Yeah, do 5. Do 5 stars. There you go. We did 5. We did five.
Unless there's 10, because that'd be half. So if there's 10 stars, then you got to give 10.
Give us the most amount of stars. But remember, like, so we did 5 movies each, so 5 stars for 5 movies. But if there's 10, we did 10 movies between us. So do that. Follow I Was a Teenage Film Snob on Instagram. I'm always posting up pictures of my Blu-rays because I've got nothing better to do. And as we say every single week, I've told you time and time again, I was a teenage film snob, but I am trying to get better. We'll see you next week.
See ya.